This video I think is kind of a present for user Almafarag, who asked me yesterday in a PM if I would make a video that didn't have my face in it. I don't think he meant it quite like that, but I think he suggested that rather than hold the camera out to one side, which I usually do, so I've got this profile shot of my mug the whole time, that I would just point it forward wherever I was going. So that's what I'm just going to do for a couple of minutes. I'm not in the most interesting spot for that actually, I'm just in this little field in Cheshire. But one thing I do like about this field, it's not really working right now. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a telegraph pole there and wires that stretch across this field. But you also get lots of birds in this field, and there was a flock in here a few minutes ago as I was walking across, and sometimes they settle on those wires. It's a shame there's only 3 wires, but they always look like musical notes, you know, they look like notes on a stave. In fact, I think there is a piece of music I came across that was composed out of the formations that birds made when they settled on a set of wires. In that case there were 5 wires. Anyhow, it's a piece of John Cage. It's 4 minutes 33 seconds by John Cage right now. Complete silence. Anyhow, I'll carry on walking. Have I got anything to talk about? Well, I've been talking recently about the cognitive operator, so I guess I should pick up on that. The cognitive operators, I really don't want to go through it all again, but it's these are these notional processes that the brain enacts upon sense data to turn it into the stuff of experience. And the idea comes out of Eugene de Killy and Andrew Newberg's work primarily, and they've got different names in different theories, but I'm using the term cognitive operator because it's nice and simple. And I've already talked about a bunch of those. So what I haven't talked about so far is the abstractive operator. So I'll just talk a little bit about that whilst I'm walking along these tracks. The abstractive operator is that cognitive process which takes lots and lots of slightly different data and then finds the common features and turns that common features into a kind of abstract schematic pattern. So for example, as I just move this camera around, you can probably see there's lots of different trees. There are some poplar trees over there behind that barn. There's some sycamore. There's some oak trees behind me. All these things are different trees. Every single one of those trees is a different shape, undoubtedly. All the branch formations are different. The different species of tree, if species is the right word, have got quite distinctive different shapes. But I can instantly recognise all of them as a tree, completely unproblematically, without any kind of rational sorting process going on. I don't need to do any kind of secondary process of identification. They're just trees. That's part of the immediacy of my experience. And that immediacy, at least according to the theories I'm looking at right now, is because of the functioning of the abstractive operator. That's the part of my brain which, I presume through exposure, I can't believe it's innate, but through repeated exposure to lots and lots of different experiences of trees, has sorted out the common features. You know, that there's some kind of vertical structure and then some other small substructures which come off at various angles, diminishing in size and in width towards the top, you know, as the trunk becomes branches, becomes twigs. All of these trees have something like that. So, I mean, that may not be the nature of this particular abstractive operator, but it must be that kind of a process going on. It's a schematic version which acts as a kind of family resemblance amongst all these different experiences. And it's not just visual, it's auditory, it's kinesthetic, it's all those kind of things. So for example, when I'm driving in my car, I don't have to learn to drive through every single road I ever go down, because I've internalised, you know, what corners are, what turning the wheel is, what accelerating and decelerating in relation to other road users feels like. And so out of all that complex of different but related activities, my abstractive operator in my brain has sucked out the important information and is using that schematically to allow me to drive in that particular case. So it's not just perceptual, it's also active. Anything else about the abstractive operator? Yeah, sound, it's the same thing. Can't think of any examples of that right now. Yeah. I mean, obviously that's the operator that's drawn upon a lot in abstract art. A lot of people don't like abstract art, and a lot of people don't understand what it means. But at its simplest, abstract art is, you know, when you mobilize your abstractive operator for expressive purpose, really. So you, well, in a sense, all art is abstract in that sense. You throw some information away that's irrelevant and keep the core abstract information that is relevant. So, for example, you would throw away the fact that people are three-dimensional objects, and you would just paint the two-dimensional surface. So you're abstracting to that extent, or you might abstract even more, or you might try to represent visually an abstract quality which is not primarily visual, but might be auditory, or might be somatic, or might be kinesthetic, or might be any of the other kind of sensory modes. That's where it gets really interesting, I think. I mean, I love Mark Rothko's paintings. I was down at the Tate in Liverpool a couple of weeks ago, Tate Gallery in Liverpool, and they've got an exhibition of Mark Rothko. These particular ones aren't very good, but they got an exhibition of his paintings, and they're sombre reds and blacks, you know, really huge, just colour fields of red and black, really sombre tones. Abstract in the sense that you don't know what they are, but what you get is the sense that something has been abstracted, that some core feature, some schematic understanding of something is going on there. I mean, it's almost an emotional or felt schema that's being abstracted and played back to you, and is colouring your relationship to it, and is positioning you in space in relation to it, and is giving you a very particular kind of aesthetic experience. Anyway, I don't know how valid that is, but that's the abstractive operator. This is what the world looks like without me in it, and that's it. Thanks very much.